Welcome back, legends, to another episode of the series of tutorials for Grand Fleet Admiral. This episode, we're going to be talking about the essentials for gameplay. Battle groups, we're going to get more in depth into that. We're going to start going over how to move your ships around the board and different strategies while you're moving the ships. So your essentials that you need to play the game, you need your miniatures, which will either be the physical official models or proxies. You can also use paper models, which we haven't designed yet, but you can just, cut something out and put the ship name on if you want. You need your rule books or your template charts that we went over in the last episode, and the core rule book and the faction book is down in the description. You need D10 dice for this game. That's the main dice that you're going to be using. And you use D6 for managing, shields and hull and your crew, and also the speed of your ship. You're going to want your battle group activation tokens and different objective markers for the scenario, which you can see in the bottom right. I'm using a little mining outpost with some asteroids around it, and that is representing one of the objectives. You're going to want some measuring tools to be able to measure the movement and your weapon ranges, and you're going to want some table space as well. 6x4 is ideal, but what I'm using as the demonstration for this game, for this tutorial, is just a regular dining room table. I think it's like a 5x4 maybe, and that's about it. So you have the play area here. You can see on the bottom left is the area that I created for the tutorial series. I have it arranged with 3 objectives in the center, one on the top, one in the middle, one on the bottom, and then on no man's land on the left and the right side you have a couple asteroids to block line of sight from the center objective. So it should be pretty interesting how both fleets are going to have to maneuver to get firing arcs on the other fleet. So yeah, in the very beginning you're going to deploy your vanguard fleets first and followed by the main fleets in the later turns. So let's go over battle groups a little bit more in depth than we did last time. Each battle group has a defined role, such as offense, defense, or support. And you must maintain cohesion for the maximum effectiveness. And that means you have to stay within 4 inches of the command ship and within another 2 inches of another ship. So what's the strategic value of having a battle group? You have your efficiency to be able to keep your battle group together, and you can save the time from having to roll a shot for each individual ship. Now, all of those weapons are combined, as you can see in the battle group template, and you can shoot, for this one, 12 ion cannons at once. So if you're going to shoot another battle group, you just look at that battle group, see how many weapons it has, and boom, just, you're gonna roll 12 dice. So it makes it much more efficient. You don't have to roll something for every single ship like some games I've had to do that in. It's been a real pain. Drags games on for hours and hours on end. It also combines the synergy, and you can create your battle groups and make the complementary abilities, such as capital ships being supported with an escort ship with active defense systems. Also, the battle groups have their commanders that can use special actions like focus all fire or all ahead full, like you can see below. Once they're all in cohesion, you share benefits like ADS and also morale boosts as well. Now that you know a little bit more about battle groups, let's move on to movement. Movement is governed by thrust points. One thrust point is moving forward 3 inches, or you can rotate up to 60 degrees. The ships must move and rotate in sequence. So that means you can move forward 3 inches, use one thrust point, turn up to 60 degrees, use another thrust point, move forward another 3 inches, and use your third thrust point. And that's how, that works. And while you're moving, you have to maintain cohesion the entire time. And then if your ship gets out of cohesion, you start losing benefits of being in a battle group. So the most important thing is your battle group can only use as many thrust points as the slowest ship in the group. So now here is a video demonstrating this concept. So if you have 3 thrusts, you can move forward 9 inches without turning. So we got 9 inches there. That's at the base of the back ship. So we're gonna move that at the base of the front ships, and we're gonna move forward 9 inches. And there we go. So now, let's say that you want to turn up to 60 degrees. Let me move these back here. So let's say you want to move 60 degrees. You can turn 60 degrees. So now we're making the turn 60 degrees. And then we want to move forward 6 inches to use the last 2 thrust points. So now that'll put us about in this location. You got to remember, the movement all has to flow in order to use up all your thrust points allocated to that battle group. Another things of note, you want to keep track of the battle group speed during the shooting phase, because fast moving ships are less accurate and hard to hit. And that, that's very important, because if you're moving top speed, you have way less of a chance to hit anything, but you also have less of a chance to be hit. So it's a very give or take kind of thing. Alright, moving on to advanced movement tactics. So when you're moving, you're always going to want to pay attention that you have your line of sight, so you can actually shoot at the target that you're pursuing. You want to always make sure that you're getting within the objectives as well, so you can continue to gain victory points to overall win the match. You want to make sure that you're avoiding obstacles, so you don't do like head-on collisions or anything like that into asteroid fields, because you might take quite some damage if you do that. You can break cohesion, which I have an example down on the bottom left that shows a couple corvettes moving out as making a diversion, and the only thing that they have to worry about now is their main battle group has now lost that ADS, and also both of those ships that are in the front and in the back, they suffer a -1% accuracy penalty, since their battle group is no longer in cohesion. So you're going to always want to use this very sparingly for flanking or diversions. More on positioning for firing. Ships can only fire within their weapon's firing arc, either the front 180, front and the side, and sometimes there's rear maybe. I haven't really seen too many rear facing weapons, but I'm sure there's got to be something out there. Movement always ensures you have a clear line of sight to targets. It's your movement. You want to always make sure that you're going to be able to shoot, because you don't want to have a turn skipped on you where you think you're going to shoot, but in the end, you're the one that's being shot at. And one of the best strategies, you can take multiple battle groups and make sure that their firing arcs are overlapping on the target, so everybody can focus fire on that main battle group, so you can wipe it off the map as quickly as possible. Let's master the battlefield. So you have many different types of strategies that you can encounter. Some will be good, some will be terrifying, but you can always try to overcome everything by using good coordination and teamwork with your battle groups. So you could divide and conquer by flanking to isolate and destroy enemy battle groups. You can hold the line, maintaining cohesion and creating a defensive wall using active defense systems and overlapping firepower. You can control objectives by prioritizing the objectives over the kills to secure victory points, or you can just focus on high value targets like command ships or carriers to wipe them off the map and be able to mop up the rest of them later on. Always make sure that those strike craft are supporting your fleet. You use fighters and bombers to harass vulnerable ships or contest the objectives. And you can protect larger ships by intercepting attacks that are incoming to the capital ships with active defense systems or screening against those strike craft. Now here's some pro tips for victory. You're going to want to plan ahead and anticipate your opponent's moves and place your battle groups accordingly. You're going to want to adapt to tokens and use the unpredictability of activation tokens to your advantage. Make sure you always balance your fleet's battle groups. You can combine firepower, defense, and mobility for ultimate versatility. Make sure you learn from your losses, because each game is a chance to refine your strategy. And always pay attention, like I said before. Keeping track of a battle group speed is critical during the shooting phase. Fast-moving ships are less accurate and hard to hit. As you can see in the chart here, you can tell this is going to be one of those charts. If you played tabletop games before, this is one of those charts that you memorize in your head. And you will. It will eventually happen. It doesn't take long. It's a pretty easy chart to get a hold of. But last but not least is, rotation's always done after movement per thrust point. You cannot rotate 30 degrees then move 3 inches as a single thrust point. You have to rotate, use a thrust point, move, use a thrust point. So that's how it works. All ships in the battle group must always be facing the same direction as the commander. And that wraps it up for this episode. Next episode, we're going to move into the turn order and the core gameplay loop. So now that you understand battle group activation, movement, and some strategies, it's time to dive into the structure of a full game turn. See you next time.